It's a beautiful part of the river. I've been fishing here 30 years, man and boy. I remember when all the big fish in this river were just little tiddlers. I put it in the microwave for 10 minutes. I then put it on to defrost for another 5. You know, I don't use none of them newfangled rods and things like that. No, I use just what nature provided. For example, I'm sitting there, I want a rod. I want a stick that's going to reach out over the river. I just see a stick and I say, tree, can I have one of your branches to be my rod? If you listen very carefully, there you go. I'm sure you heard that. The tree said, no.
On the other hand, the tree might have agreed.
Did you hear that? The tree doesn't mind at all. He said, will I pull the branch quickly like pulling a tooth so he won't feel it too much? Okay, tree, think about something else. Think about squirrels and owls in your branches. Squirrels in your branches fighting one another. What a lovely summer's day. And I'll pull the branch out and you won't feel a thing. There. That's all right, isn't it? Be careful with these trees, you know. Don't want one getting annoyed with you and falling on top of you. There you go, you see. Perfectly good fishing rod. Beautiful. Beautiful bit of willow, this. Could have been made into a cricket bat for very thin cricketers. And what do I use for bait, you will ask yourself? Well, I'll tell you. I use nature's natural bait. Or NNB as we people call it. It's growing by the side of the river here. Nature's natural bait. There you go. Just put my hand down, and I first of all, before I put my hand down, I say to Mother Earth, I say, Mother, do you mind if I have a handful of grass? And she says, no. Which means she does not mind. So I take a handful of nature's natural bait. Look at that. Oh, well, I get another handful of natural bait there. Plenty growing around. Plenty growing around. Mind you, I say that. I had a friend who used to go fishing in the Sahara Desert when it were all nice and green like this. And they used to do that, you know. They used to take handfuls of grass, and look at it now. So you've got to be careful. Now, you see, this bait consists of various types of grasses and herbs and flowers. And these are used for the different fish you want to try and catch. For example, if you want to catch a trout, you use grass. If you want to catch a salmon, and there are lots of salmon here because I threw some in this morning, you use these little yellow things which are called salmon nobblers. I'll just ask the tree to hold on to my rod a minute. You hold on to my rod, tree. Oh, he's awkward bugger today, isn't he? You hold on to that tree. I mean, you hold on to that rod, tree. Now, as I was saying, the little yellow flowers, which are called fish maulers, they catch the large fish, the odd octopus or whale that swims by. So that's that. There you go. You heard one there, I think. I like a nice bit of swan for my dinner. Nothing like a nice bit of swan. You notice that, and also if it's very hot in the evening, you let it flap for a while, and that keep you cool. This actual flower, I've actually used it to catch several fish, and I find what happens is that when they've swallowed the flower, and I've caught them, and I have them for dinner, and then I cut them open, the flower's still there, so I use it again. And it seems to acquire a certain, I don't know what, a sort of je ne sais quoi type of thing, which entice other fish to eat it and get caught for my dinner, and I cut them open. So I use this over and over again. That's one of my favourite flowers, that is. And this is the very interesting one. this bits of grass that look just like any other bit of grass. In fact, it's entirely different, you see. I use that to catch polar bears. Now, I don't like polar bear meat myself. My wife loves polar bear meat, but I can't catch them too often on the river. They tend to swim rather fast. They're very adept at the overarm crawl. My wife wanted polar bears to eat. I thought, all right, just for this once, I don't like catching polar bears. They're quite hard to catch, actually. As I say, excuse me, there's a bit of shark coming up that I had for lunch, my shark sandwiches. You see, I was sitting by the bay. It was just about 100 yards from here, actually. I was sitting there with my rod, similar sort of rod, hunting for polar bears. And I looked round, and would you believe it, about not more than 10 yards away, there were a polar bear fishing. I wondered what are he trying to catch? Then I saw it, believe it or not, a whole load of swimmers swam by. And this polar bear had a donut on the end of his fishing line. And one of these swimmers jumped up and tried to eat this donut. Well, what he didn't know the polar bears put some extra special polar bear glue on this donut. And it stuck fast to his mouth, and the polar bear hauled him in, hit him on the head with a pole, and took him home for dinner. Well, that put me off catching polar bears. I haven't tried to catch a polar bear since then. Enough about polar bears. What we want to know is about fishing. So, I will demonstrate how to catch a fish. From the very beginning, right up to putting it in the pan. Now here you see my rod, my trusty mahogany rod, which I got from the tree just before. You saw me break it off yourselves. And now, first of all, you have to see where the sun is, where the wind is, and where the shadows are. The shadows are very important, because a fish thinks a shadow that it sees on top of the river is a boat or another big fish, and it keeps out the way of the shadows. So fish never swim where there are shadows. You see, there's a tree over there, a reflection of a tree. Now I know there won't be any fish over there. Okay, so I've got to decide what I'm going to catch for tea. I've decided, as you may remember, I don't want polar bears. Now, a nice bit of shark wouldn't be bad. Shark and chips. What I like best with my chips of a Friday evening, and of course today is Friday, as you can see by the angle of the sun, is the normal trout. Now, you can't beat a normal trout. Now, normal trout really like normal grass. So that's what I'm going to give them. I'm going to give them some normal grass, and they will jump out of the water and straight into my bag. In fact, my rod is actually a decoy rod. So I move the rod slightly to one side, and then the trout move away from the rod because they can see its reflection of the sun in the river and so on, as I explained earlier. Then they jumps up when I throw the bait. Remember the bait? Bait, B-A-T-E, bait. I throw that in the river. They jumps up, I opens my bag, and in they plop. Now, should we try that? Now, it takes a little while for the trout to jump out the river. That's the normal trout. The abnormal trout just laugh and go the other way. But the normal trout will jump out the river when I throw this in and straight into my bag. Here we go. I throw it in the river. I open this bag. There. They move very fast though. You don't often see them. But it's in there. You take my word for it. There you go. There, you want to have a look inside? See the trout there? These little eyes all wondering where it is. Thinks it's in a little cave, because I keep my bag full of water, you see. Thinks it's in a little cave under the sea. Make a nice dinner now. The only thing left to do is catch some chips.